The Monk's Tale. Words of the host to the monk. When I had done my tale of Melody, and Dame Prudence's benignity, our host exclaimed, As I'm an honest man, and by the precious bones of Madrian, I'd rather have had my wife here to hear this tale, good soul, than have a barrel full of ale. She never shows such patience when with me, as Prudence showed in handling Melody. God's bones, whenever I go to bent those knaves, my tapsters, out she comes with clubs and staves. Go on, she screams, and it's a caterwaul. You kill those dogs, break back and bones and all. If any of my neighbors when in church fails to acknowledge her or gives a lurch, and bumps against her, as may be the case, no sooner home, she's ramping in my face. You wretched coward, she cries, avenge your wife. By corpus bones, she says, give me your knife, and you shall have my distaff and go spin. That's how the evenings end and days begin. My word, she said, things are in pretty shape. I've married a milksop or a cowardly ape, who lets himself be downed by every sot, and daren't stand up to back his wife, that's what. Such is my daily life unless I fight. By God, she turns me out of doors at night, lost if I show the slightest sign of tardiness, or seem less than a lion in foolhardiness. Sooner or later, thanks to all her labors, I shall be driven to murdering the neighbors. For knives out, I'm an ugly customer, though I confess I can't stand up to her. My arm is pretty tough, as by Sir Victor you'd find were you to wound or constrict her. But now, let's drop the subject and pass on. My lord the monk, don't look so woebegone, for it's your turn to tell a story, sir. Why, look, we've almost got to Rochester. Forward, my lord, and don't hold up our game. But, on my honor, I don't know your name. Sir John, perhaps? Why have you kept it from us? Or should I say Sir Alban, or Sir Thomas? What monastery have they shut you in? I vow to God you have a pretty skin. There was a fine pasture where you were sent. You've nothing like a ghost or penitent. You're nothing like a ghost or penitent. My, you must surely be some officer, some worthy sexton, or some cellarer. For by my father's soul, in my opinion, when you're at home, you're in your own dominion. You are no novice cloistered in retreat, but in control and wily as discreet. Moreover, when it comes to brawn and bone, you seem to be well cared for. You must own, God send confusion to the fellow who first had the thought to make a monk of you. You would have put a hen to pretty use, had you permission, as you have the juice, to exercise your pleasure in procreation. You could have done your part to build the nation. Alas, who put you in so wide a cope? Damnation take me, but if I were Pope, not only you, but many a mighty man going about the world with tonsured pan should have a wife for look, the world's forlorn. Religion has got hold of all the corn. Of procreation, laymen are but shrimps. Weak trees make sorry seedings. That's what skimps are heirs, and children makes them all so slender and feeble that they hardly can engender. And that's what makes our wives so apt to cope. Religious people, there they have some hope of honest coin to pay the debts of Venus. We laymen hardly have a groat between us. But don't be angry, sir, at what I say. Many a true word has been said in play. This worthy monk took all without offence, and said, Sir, I will do my diligence to tell you a tale or two or three, as far as may conform with decency, and if you care to hear, as our assessor, I'll tell the life of Edward the Confessor. Or else, I have some tragedies to tell. I have at least 100 in my cell. Tragedy means a certain kind of story, as old books tell, of those who fell from glory, people that stood in great prosperity, and were cast down out of their high degree into calamity, and so they died. Such tales are usually versified in 6-foot lines they call hexameter. Many are told in prose, if you prefer, and other meters suited to the stuff. This explanation ought to be enough. Now listen, therefore, if you care to hear, but first I beg you not to be severe of my chronology in all these things. Be they of popes, of emperors, or kings, forsake the order in which they fell of yore, and I put some behind and some before. They come to my remembrance but by chance. Accept excuses for my ignorance.